Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today is a very silly, fun, light-hearted video. I have no idea where this video is going, what we're going to talk about, what is going to happen. Like, it's all a mystery to me. So a few years ago, I was in Wigtown for their book festival, which is a little village town in Scotland, and they have so many bookshops in this tiny little place. And I had a great time rummaging around all of these mostly secondhand bookshops and finding some real interesting books. One of these secondhand bookshops had an entire erotic section, and actually those many years ago, I'm pretty sure I did a book haul of all of the books that I bought on that trip. How did I get all of those books home with me? I can't remember. But we are finally, many years later, after this book has been sat on my shelf just collecting dust, we are diving into its contents. And that book is Sex and Sexuality, a thematic dictionary of quotations. So what I did was I sent a picture of the contents page to my patrons and asked them just to send me page numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those page numbers, flick through this book, and just pull out some random quotes about sex and sexuality, and honestly, who knows what is going to happen. Thank you very much to my patrons for participating in this video with me. I hope that these quotes satisfy your curiosity, and let's dive in. So both Kyla and Bethany were keen for page 11. So let's see what that gives us. Okay, so page 11 is about aphrodisiacs. And the first thing that is jumping out of this page to me is a quote from Aristotle in the Nicomachean Ethics, 4th century BC. So this is apparently what he said. Erection is chiefly caused by parsnips, artichokes, turnips, asparagus, candied ginger, acorns bruised to powder, and drunk in muscadel, scallion, sea shellfish, etc. Did anyone know that this is something Aristotle talked about? Like how to have and maintain an erection? Okay, I'm already obsessed. Kind of makes sense for men just to be talking about philosophy and erections, all one and the same. Next, Emily wants us to look at page 26, which is about bisexuality. Right, let's see what I can find here. This is from Edna St. Vincent Millay, 20th century, in response to a doctor who hinted that her severe recurring headaches might be due to repressed lesbian impulses. Okay, so she said, "Oh, you mean I'm homosexual? Of course I am, and heterosexual too. But what's that got to do with my headache?" I love it. Okay. What has anyone's bisexuality got to do with a headache? Maybe bi-erasure causes headaches though. Just putting it out there. Congratulations, Andrew. You were the first person to suggest page 69. Nice. Let's see what joys it beholds. Exhibitionism. Let's go to Melita Schmidberg on treating exhibitionism from 1972. Exhibitionism is not necessarily an indication of mental abnormality. In certain slum neighborhoods, this is an accepted form of courting, and only in respectable middle-class areas are passers-by likely to call the police. Interesting how class and sex intersect very much. Slum neighborhoods. Thank you for that, Melita. Ape has suggested page 226. Ooh, okay. Sadism and masochism. Let's just see what jumps out at me. This one is from 1642. Giovanni Sinibaldi in the Geneenthropiae. Excellent. Dear God, what have we here? A prodigy? That pleasure should come from pain, sweet from bitter, lust from bloody wounds? Does the same road lead to torment and to delight? That's such a good quote! Excellent. Dear God, what have we here? I'm not entirely sure if he's like, dear God, what have we here? This is horrendous, or thank you, God, for this thing. Chloe wants page 182. which is all about orgies. This is Dorothy Parker quoted by Alexander Woolcott in While Rome Burns, 1934. If all the young ladies who attended the Yale promenade dance were laid end to end, no one would be the least surprised. So basically, all of the ladies who attended Yale, if they were all shagging each other, no one would be surprised? That's what I'm gathering from that. Stacy, 138. By the way, I want you to know that I am not pre-reading these. I'm kind of pre-reading the context, but then the actual quote I'm reading pretty much as I am saying it. Okay, 138. Ooh, masturbation. Okay, I've immediately seen one from Havelock Ellis, The Psychology of Sex, 1933, and I'm going to read that out because Havelock Ellis is somebody that I studied for my university dissertation. So I'm curious as to what he said because this is outside of the time frame that I was studying him. This is a bit later. Onan's device. So onan, I'm pretty sure is about masturbation. That word, doesn't it mean masturbation? Onan? Anyway, let's read this. Onan's device was not autoerotic, but an early example of withdrawal before emission or coitus interruptus. Doesn't onan mean masturbation? Oh, onan is in the Bible. Did he masturbate and then God was like, haha, thou shalt be punished? Oh, he was the second son of Judah and Shua. Onan's death was retribution for being evil in the sight of Yahweh. Onanism, that's where I've heard that word. Onanism was the term used for masturbation. Okay, based on an interpretation of the Onan story. Onan's device was not autoerotic, but an early example of withdrawal before emission or coitus interruptus. So he's saying that he wasn't masturbating. Who knows? Somebody interpret that for me. Excellent. Next, Virginia, 184. We are talking about perversion. Excellent. Okay, I see one from Sigmund Freud. Fine. 3 essays on the theory of sexuality, 1905. Okay, it's given a bit of context here. So it says, yet surveys indicate that most adults enjoy sexual fantasies of precisely this kind, whatever the previous quote was. Are they all to be labelled abnormal? Similarly, any attempt to define sexual normality purely in terms of the reproductive goal will lead to the conclusion that most of us are perverts. And now the Sigmund Freud quote. No healthy person, it appears, can fail to make some addition that might be called perverse to the normal sexual aim. And the universality of this finding is in itself enough to show how inappropriate it is to use the word perversion as a term of reproach. We're all perverts, baby! Sasha, 173. We're talking about orgasms. Okay, I see another one from Havelock Ellis, but we're going to skip over you. We've already done you. I see one from Alfred Kinsey et al. Sexual Behaviour in the Human Female, 1953. It is inconceivable that males who are not reaching orgasm would continue their marital coitus for any length of time. So if a man wasn't going to come, what would be the point of the sex? Right, Daisy, 108. Of course, Daisy, of course. Lesbianism. I'm just trying to find a quote that is actually written by a woman, or at least clearly a woman's name. Charlotte Wolfe, Love Between Women, 1971. I have no doubt that lesbianism makes a woman virile and open to any sexual stimulation, and that she is more often than not a more adequate and lively partner in bed than a normal woman. Oh, there are so many things in that I love and hate. Well, no, it's good that the quotation marks around normal, I guess. Laura and Escher are both curious about page 23, which is, once again on bisexuality. I see another one by this Charlotte Wolfe, Dr. Charlotte Wolfe, Love Between Women, 1971. So let's just see what she's got to say about bisexuality as well. If one can speak of a normal state, it is bisexuality. I am quite convinced that if you could bring up a child without any gender conditioning, that child would be bisexual. Discuss, class. I'm inclined to agree somewhat. Okay, Natalie, 260. Here we go. We're talking about, there is a whole chapter called sexual nonsense. So let's find out what sexual nonsense is in here. I have to read this one. This one comes from a Mesopotamian papyrus, like the oldie paper. So 2000 BC. And it says, if the forehead of the mother-to-be is heavily freckled, the child she is carrying is a boy. Can confirm, my forehead is not heavily freckled, but maybe Rowan is a girl then, or non-binary. So this is yet to be confirmed in my case. How exciting. But just so we're all on the same page, you cannot tell the sex or gender of a fetus from the freckles of the pregnant person's forehead. Ikesu, Anika, Lisa, and Gabby all said 258, which also happens to be sexual nonsense, which I don't want to do too many repeats of themes, but sexual nonsense, we have to. So, what sexual nonsense do we have here? I'm seeing a lot of Freud, but okay, what about this? T.C. Albert, A System of Medicine from 1899. There are special conditions, both physical and moral, which dispose to insanity. In women, menstruation, with its irregularities, childbirth, and the change of life, are potent influences. Correct. It is sexual nonsense. Oh, maybe that is what this entire chapter is, just like all of the bullshit that people have said, which might also be why I just immediately see 2 quotes from Freud. Okay, wow, oh my God. I'm gonna have to look through this chapter by myself at some point because, oh wow. Geraldine is interested in page 238, which is sex in old age. Let's see what we've got here. From Roy Excapa, Bizarre Sex, 1987. The subject of geriatric sex has been taboo for far too long, and because of this, the elderly are discriminated against. He said it. Roy. There we go, that's all you really need to know. No. Becca, 280. Ooh, wedding nights. There's a whole chapter for wedding nights. Okay, Robert Chartham, Sex Manners for Men, 1967. Until comparatively recently, all too many women went to their wedding night without any idea at all how the sex act was performed. And that is a bad thing because, and who should teach them? Hopefully not just their husbands. Anyway, Eloise, 263. Sexual techniques. Oh, let's see what we can find. Okay, M.E. Shorter, Capitalism, Culture and Sexuality, 1972. Man on top, woman on bottom, little foreplay, rapid ejaculation, masculine unconcern for feminine orgasm. What a great technique, guys. What a great technique. Alyssa, 132. Marriage. Okay, who do we want to read a quote from? Philodemus of Gadara, 1st century BC. You weep, utter miserable words, look round curiously, are jealous, often touch me, often kiss me. This is the behaviour of a lover. But when I say, I am going to bed, and you dally, there is nothing of the lover at all about you. Is this specifically about marriage? Maybe this person is talking about their spouse? Penny, 111. Love. Oh, let's see what somebody has to say about love. God, these quotes are long. Let's go with this one. Pierre Cordelos de Laclos from Les Liaisons Dangereuses. Pleasure, which is undeniably the sole motive force behind the union of the sexes, is nevertheless not enough to form a bond between them. If it is preceded by desire which impels, it is succeeded by disgust which repels. That is a law of nature which love alone can alter. So basically all of the things that we potentially find gross about somebody else, we forget about if we love them. That's what I'm getting from that. True. Okay, there are loads more page number suggestions, but I'm just going to do one more. But patrons, maybe we do a bonus video, like going through more of these or a live stream or something. So let me know if that's something that you want. Right, Victoria, 35, which is, chastity and celibacy. I mean, there's a lot of quotes from Corinthians in here, which I'm gonna skip. In fact, I want to know what Dr. Barbara Bross has to say about this in How to Love Like a Real Woman from Cosmopolitan, June 1969. Sexual abstinence in a normally constituted person is always pathogenic. What? We have been given sex organs to use them. If we don't use them, they decay and cause irreparable damage to body and mind. This is blunt, firm, indisputable, and true. Well, Barbara, I'm not sure what you're doing in this chapter. I think you should be in the sexual nonsense chapter. And on that note, thank you very much for watching. I do sincerely hope that you enjoyed this very silly video. I have no idea where you can get this book if you want it, because I got this in a second-hand shop. When was it published? It seems relatively recent. 1993. I'm sure you'll be able to find it somewhere. Do let me know if you'd like a Patreon bonus video or live stream where we dive into more of the fun and wild and interesting quotes in this. And also let me know in the comments which were your favourite quotes that we read out in this video. I hope that you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!